What is going on, everyone? Welcome back to the Best Bet Show. It is Monday. Halloween is tomorrow, and we got a scary primetime game for us yet again. It's Monday. Lions, Raiders. We're going to let everyone start to roll in here. But we're back, me and you. You had a nice, what did you even do Sunday? You enjoying
I had a nice
life?
day at the parents' house, actually. Went home for the weekend, spent some
There you
time with the
go.
family, watched the Eagles struggle against the Commanders. But yeah, other than that, not a whole lot. It was just kind of a family weekend, so I wasn't able to get here on Sunday, but I'm here now, and I'm excited, man.
Yeah, we have an interesting game. 7-point spread, I believe, is what it is. A lot of money coming in on the Lions. Opened at 4.5, went to 7. Jimmy G's back. St. Brown dealing with an illness. David Montgomery's out. A lot of love for Gibbs, a lot of love for LaPorta, a lot of love for mostly Lions players as expected. Everyone's saying go Lions in the comments. Gibbs 2+ TDs. I hope I'm with you. Viva Austin, you got some love from Cal there.
Love that.
Um, yeah, 100 people in now. I guess we could start talking. What are your thoughts in this game? Do you see an over/under? Do you see a Lions win by 7 points before we go into props? Where do you see this game going on this Monday night?
I'm not going to lie, I was pretty vocal calling the Lions frauds. They sold a few of my parlays last week, so I was pretty critical. 7-point spread after that ass whooping from the Ravens. It's an interesting line. This Raiders team I don't think's any good. So I'm kind of tweening in the middle. I could see the Raiders covering +7, honestly, keeping it close, but I also could see the Lions kind of showing, hey, we're actually still a good team and kind of pumping the brake on them. So yeah, I guess right now I'm still tweening. I haven't decided yet. But
Yeah, I don't think a decisive win over the Raiders is going to change your mind, but a
right,
loss to the
right.
Raiders will confirm your thoughts. It's an interesting game. I mean, the Raiders are 3-4, tied for second in the AFC West with the Chargers. Broncos now 3-5 in that division as well after they beat the Chiefs. And the AFC is tough, as we know. I'm not saying the Raiders are going to make the playoffs, but they're technically, mathematically still in the mix. There's a lot of 4-3, 3-4 teams where they'd love to win this game. I mean, they'd absolutely love to win this game. I'm not saying they're going to, but if they want to compete with that division, they're going to have to win. Lions 5-2 ahead of the NFC North, and now with Kirk Cousins down for the Vikings, most likely for the whole rest of the year, they are definitely by far the favorites to win that division. So they need to respond after that beat down by the Ravens. I think they respond very well and they score a lot of points. 7 points in a primetime game with a over under 46.5 seems to be fair. Where are you looking props wise? I saw you posted Sam LaPorta. Tell us why you love Sam LaPorta receptions today.
Yeah, I mean, I love LaPorta simply off the fact that I think it's super safe on any DFS. If you can get it at 4.0, he's pushed in it, or he's pushed or covered in 6 of 7. The only miss was with 3. And I mean, they play cover 1, cover 3, cover 4. He's got a 29% target share to those 3 coverages. Second highest on the team behind Amon-Ra, who apparently has an illness. We don't know exactly the severity of that, but there's been tons of reports. I'm kind of using it similar to how when Bijan was, you know what I mean, he was ill. They kind of used him as a decoy, played him a few snaps, but they definitely didn't want him to touch the ball. And if Amon-Ra is just out there to run cardio, like I feel like LaPorta's got to be the guy they go to, or Reynolds, which we'll probably talk about later. But yeah, I just think it's a safe spot. He's been a clear target. He's got a great target share. Goff loves him, and he's healthy. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think it's a great spot here. I know the Raiders allow a lot of stuff to running backs, whether that's yards, whether that's carries, whether that's receiving yards in general. But the Lions love to pass the ball too. Jared Goff's been very good for them. Even though I think a lot of people were pretty low on him after that trade, I think he's proven himself. They have a dynamic offense, great tight end, great running back. Josh Reynolds and Amon-Ra St. Brown at the 2 wide receivers are pretty dangerous. And obviously, St. Brown requires a lot of coverage. So if he's going to take some defenders away, LaPorta is a big target, and he's shown that he loves LaPorta. So 4 is a great push potential for me as well. So I think it's a great spot to attack. I think you push or at worst, honestly. I'm on Jahmyr Gibbs over his rush attempts at 15.5. The Lions just absolutely utilized David Montgomery. Yes, he got hurt. He's not playing today, but he went over that number in every game that he started up until he got hurt against the Bucks. But every game that he started, he went over. Jahmyr Gibbs without Montgomery last week still had 11 carries and they lost by like 30. So if they're winning this game and have positive game script, I think he's going to be explosive. I think they're going to use him heavy. I think 15.5 is just a great number. Every team has gone over this number besides two, and that was the Patriots and the Broncos, who both shared the ball and had over 20 attempts, or 17 and 20 attempts between the two in general. Game script tells me I love this. I could see 20 plus. Do you agree with this play?
Yeah, it fits in with the game script 100%. And I really like it in that aspect. I've seen a lot of people starting to kind of push it a little bit more. So it's starting to become more public, rightfully so. I don't think just because something becomes public that, oh, we got to fade it because it's public. You know what I mean? Sometimes a lot of people just have the same opinion on a play. So I totally get that. I think looking at the other side, I was looking at Garoppolo pass attempts at 34.5, which would correlate with the Jahmyr Gibbs play. Just not sure on it yet, just because Garoppolo's only hitting 1 of 5 this season. However, every quarterback against the Lions has gone over 34.5, except Lamar last week, who had 22 attempts in the first half, but they blew him out, obviously, as we saw. So he likely would have soared over if game script stayed close. I don't know. It just could be a good play where if we see the Lions take that lead, run it with Gibbs a ton, Garoppolo could be on the other side forced to pass.
Yeah. I like it. I think game script wise, that's what everyone's thinking, if we're being honest.
Right.
I honestly, you could shut this down or not. And guys, in the comments, we're gonna go over a lot of stuff. If you guys have any questions about the game, feel free to ask in the comments. We'd love to answer to the best of our ability. Appreciate all of you guys being in here. But Josh Reynolds, okay, his line is 35.5. He's gone over that every single week. And that's mainly because he gets a long reception. His longest reception line is at 18.5 on FanDuel. And he's at a 20-plus yard reception every week. I know the Raiders don't give up a ton to wide receivers. That's mainly because of game script, and the run defense is so bad that teams just waste clock and run all over them and are usually winning. But to me, a guy who's covered every single game and has had a longest reception of 20-plus yards, to me, that line is so low, especially with St. Brown having an illness. If he doesn't play, obviously this line probably skyrockets to 40 plus. Even if he does play, though, and he's sick, it seems like it's too good of a number to be true, which scares me. But what are your thoughts on Josh Reynolds?
I think if Brown doesn't play, I think LaPorta goes up to about 5.5 on books for receptions. And I think this line would go around 47 to 48.5, honestly. We've seen it shoot up around that when Brown has had some injuries news. What I like about it is the targets. I mean, 7, 6, 6, 5, 3, 3 the last 2 weeks. So that's a little concerning, the dip off there. But he's consistently seen targets. You know what I mean? So obviously he's a focal point. It's not like he's just getting that one catch on 2 targets every single week and somehow, you know what I mean, covering lines. He's still out there getting targets. So you still have opportunity, which is obviously when you're taking a receiver, that's the biggest thing. You know what I mean? You can't cover lines if they're not getting the ball thrown to them. So I can't knock that play at all. And he's hit it consistently. I think the only miss I saw was against Atlanta where he didn't see a target. So I'm not sure if he didn't play that game. I didn't look into that, but
Yeah, I don't see him playing. I don't think he played that game because I don't see
on
him
the 20,
0 targets. But
on the
I mean,
24th.
that's unbelievable for me. And honestly, his average yard per catch this season is 18.3.
Yeah, it's nuts. He's
And
the
you're getting
deep
a
ball
long
guy for him.
reception at 18.5. I just don't get it. It scares the hell out of me, but it's something I've been looking at probably all day. And yeah, I think you can't go wrong with Riley Patterson, the Lions kicker. I'm not saying the Lions are going to steamroll today, and that's like the easiest game script to say. But when you look at the bounce back spot from them getting absolutely trounced by the Ravens, I like their coaches. I think they have a great culture in there. I think when they get smacked in the mouth, like he said, they're just going to keep coming back stronger and stronger. I think this is a perfect game to kind of set the score. They were off 2 road games, finally back home. I just think it makes sense for them to score at will. Jimmy G's interception line is at -180. So if they turn the ball over, They could get some short field position. This guy said, is he playing now? I think he was always going to play. He might just be limited or just not feeling too hot. So I would expect him to play, though. If I had
Yeah,
to,
I lean that he plays. I don't think he's sitting out. However, I mean, the illness has been noted, so it's not like it's nothing. You know what I mean? There's obviously some discomfort. They also
yeah,
have Jameson Williams, which going back could be a reason Reynolds saw 3 targets the last 2 weeks. You know what I mean? The addition of Williams. So
yeah.
just
He
another
had 6
note.
targets last week, didn't catch a single pass, which is to me very concerning.
Yeah,
But he had
right.
2 catches on 3 targets the 2 other weeks. Um, to me, it's just the wide receiver game is going to be tough. The reason why I'm not on Reynolds as well is because they don't allow a lot of yards because they don't just get a lot of catches. When the Raiders played the Chargers, Keenan Allen had 3 catches on like 5 targets because they just run the ball so much. And honestly, the the usage rate on Amon-Ra St. Brown and Sam LaPorta is just so high that you can't go receptions anywhere else, but you could go yards
Right.
on a long ball. This guy said Gibbs over rushing and receiving. I like both. I think he crushes both. I think he's going to have such a high usage rate just giving game script alone. And when they're expecting the run, maybe a high volume of screens, maybe a high volume of just, block a little bit, break out, just be a last option for them.
Yeah, I would definitely play rush and receive if you're gonna not do the rush attempts, just off the fact that like he's clearly a weapon in the receiving game, and we saw you and I like to target running backs against the Raiders for that reason. They go crazy in the receiving game. So if I had to pick one, it'd be rush attempts first, and then I would go rush and receiving at I believe it was 95.5. It could have bumped up a little bit last scene, but I think that's a good spot.
Yeah, this guy said Devontae or Myers. I'm seeing a lot of Myers love, if we're being honest. I know Devontae is going to probably control the locker room narrative of, hey, he's got to feed him the rock. But Myers has been very, very sneaky good. And I think he's building more of a rapport with Jimmy G in general. And losing, I don't think you can go wrong with either of them. I think if they're down, they're both going to see a ton of targets. And it just depends on the matchup. I'm seeing a lot of guys loving Myers, probably just because of the line being a little lower and he's been just as consistent. But Austin, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna dive deep onto both Adams and Myers. Both are set at 6.5 and 5.5 receptions on books, 6 and 5 on DFS apps. So I think honestly, I lean Myers. I just think I like what I see when he lines up in the slot. I think he can win one-on-ones there. And I mean, it's no secret Garoppolo likes throwing to him. I mean, it's been weird, but the targets are there. Like the dude is clearly a big factor.
Yeah.
I think I lean Myers right now, but that could change. So I'm not going to do an official play on the Raiders
I
yet.
think I lean Myers as well because Myers the last 3 weeks has gotten more targets than Devontae.
Right.
Devontae with 12, 5, and 4 the last 3 weeks. Myers with 13, 7, and 10. Going 7, 5, and 7 receptions. Honestly, the only game he's had less than 7 receptions, that 4 target game, or less than 7 targets, that 4 target game versus the Chargers. Third week of the season, or third game that he played, and Devontae had 8 catches on 13 targets. So I think it's kind of swinging more Jacoby Myers' way, and that could be because of the attention that Devontae brings, that Myers is sneaking in a lot of routes. But the more chemistry they're building, I think the more of a discount you're getting on Myers.
I agree. Well, and looking at,
Yeah.
not to interrupt you on that, brother, but just looking at some of the receivers against them, like the Bucks, Mike Evans, four receptions on 10 targets, Godwin six grabs on 7 targets, Tyler Lockett 8 grabs on 10 targets, DK Metcalf 6 grabs. So I mean, it's just looking like even Romeo Doubs 9 grabs on 13 targets, Christian Watson 2 grabs on 4 targets. It looks like the number 2 wide receiver just on trends has been really solid against this Lions team. Obviously, because most teams are down, so they're having to play with a negative game script and pass the ball more. But it's something to note that clearly a lot of teams' number 2s seem to be pretty solid against them.
Yeah, and I'm seeing in the chat they're saying Michael Meyer.
I've seen that one. Michael Myers receptions or yards at, I believe, 21.5.
Only reason why I play this is because it's Halloween tomorrow, and it's just the perfect play.
Right.
Uh,
It's the script.
Definitely fit the Halloween script for me. And the Lions, again, easy to look at, top 10 in receiving yards, tight ends, and receptions. To me, there's too much love to share across the board. Personally, you'd have to pick a guy, and I'd rather not pick. I'm sick in Lions props for me today, but if you're gonna pick a Raiders guy, I'm probably leaning Jacoby Myers, which I guess also can kind of go with Halloween script. But Meyer at 2.5 receptions. I'd probably go receptions over yards for the tight end. I think he'd be a little safe option. And I'd probably go Myers receptions and/or yards. That's just my thoughts.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's interesting. It's definitely an interesting spot on the receptions. I'm kind of in the middle. I'm not really sure on him enough yet. I feel like I got to see another game from Mike.
Yeah, I agree. Any other questions before we hop off? We're going to get some more parlays, more promos and stuff out for you guys. But that's pretty much it. I do see the Lions bouncing back and winning this game. You don't need to be a rocket scientist to think that way. I think Gibbs is heavily involved. I love his rush attempts. I'm sneaky looking at Josh Reynolds receiving yards. And then I'm going to make a parlay probably right after this. Like I said, Jacobs over receiving yards. Is that Josh Jacobs? I'd assume.
Yeah, we all tried that last week with Brian Hoyer and bit us quite.
Yeah, I do like his receiving yards if the game script is there for dump offs, and Jimmy G I love a lot more than Brian Hoyer.
Right, obviously.
So Austin Hooper is definitely, I think, on the decline, if we're gonna be honest. I think I wouldn't touch him. Jimmy under 1.5 TDs, probably over under 46.5. If they get a rushing touchdown, he's cooked. To me, I'd rather lean wide receivers for the Raiders, just given game script. But
Likewise.
Josh Jacobs' usage is so high that you could make an argument for it every single week, if we're being honest.
Yeah, I mean, if the game stays close, he soars over 16.5 rush attempts. Like, if this game stays within 7, I bet he gets 20 carries, But that's the problem. It's like, are you confident enough that the game stays close? Which I'm 50-50 right now, so.
I agree. Well, guys, like the video. Thank you guys for tuning in. Again, more live shows going to be coming. We're hoping to get some guests on for these live shows, but it's a lot harder to get schedules going with live shows with guests. But appreciate you guys. Like the video. Make sure you're subscribed. A lot more stuff coming out. Best of luck in your bets today. Stay tuned on our pages for more stuff. Catch you guys next time. Peace.